a sweat running around, turning on all the cameras, hitting record on the sound.
Like I'm, I don't know why we're trying to be like, oh, it's a different episode. It's the same day. Because we're going to be on the road, and we decided that we were going to film 2-hour episodes back to back and be different. And then I'm like, I even put the glasses, right? It's a different.
That's ridiculous, Steve. Steve wasn't wearing glasses on the last episode, so he went and grabbed
Put on the
them.
glasses. A different tank top, like anybody gives a shit about my tank tops. They're all the same, dude, every episode.
And I don't like this one anyway because it like blends in too much with the colors on the wall. I got to buy you some new tank tops.
I'm very, we recorded the other episode and I enjoyed that, by the way. I thought we had a good episode.
Uh-huh.
But then I was holding back. Because I was like, oh man, I really wanted to talk about this because I don't know how I feel.
About what?
So
can you see the look on my face? I'm oh great, what's he gonna bring up?
We have made friends in New Braunfels, and it's very hard for me to make friends.
Okay.
Not because I'm not a personal guy, not because I don't like people. It's because anytime they can hang out, I can't.
Yeah, because the schedule.
My schedule.
You work weekends when most people have off and go on dates and hang out.
The people that live in New Braunfels.
Yeah.
Most of them work Monday through Friday, and I work Thursday through Saturday. So it's hard for me to find the time to go and have a drink or hang out or go to the barbecue or go to the party. So it's hard for me to make friends. But one of our friends, we met him and his wife Matt and Lacey through our daycare.
Yes.
And we like them. And me and him and a couple of the other dads were all on a text message chain.
Okay.
And we were talking. Oh, and by the way, those dads are married to the women you hang out with.
Right. Well, that's how this all started. You're making me a little nervous. Steve always makes me nervous when he talks about like people in our real life because I never know what's going to come out of your mouth, and I'm really worried more for them than myself. But
but Matt was saying to me, he's like, dude, how many freaking girls' nights do they get?
Well, that's how the group started. All the moms we became friends because our kids go to daycare, and we were like, mamas need a little time out too. So we started a moms group that really meets once a month, Steve. You're very dramatic. We try to get together once a month.
But me and those dads, all we have is a text message chain.
Well, that's y'all's fault because you can't get it together.
We don't have meetings. We don't have. So anyway, Matt has taken charge and been like, hey, guys, we should, during football season, hey, who wants to do wings and watch a game together, right?
Yeah.
So.
And none of the mamas have a problem with that?
No. And what I'm saying is I have been missing those.
Oh.
And then one I committed to because I'm like, man, I do want to hang out, right?
Yeah.
I want to hang out with those guys. I like those guys. They're funny. They're fun to hang out with. And then one of them was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm there. And then you were like, no, we're having a birthday dinner for you.
Oh, right.
So I couldn't go.
Yeah.
I'm like, crap. So
I miss out on a lot of them too because of your schedule.
Right. So
yeah.
How did this turn into you? We're talking about me. We're talking about me. So I felt bad that, here Matt and that group have reached out several times.
They're like, we might as well take Steve off the text
chain.
Right.
And then I'm like, crap, man. So Matt goes, so then apparently, and you missed this one, apparently all the girls went and had like a nice dinner.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
I haven't been the last couple of months because Delilah.
Yeah. And then, so Matt was like, dude, what the fuck? Like these girls are now going to like, what's the place called here in town? Myron's?
Oh, the steakhouse? They went to the steakhouse?
Yeah. He's like, dude, they're going to the freaking steakhouse? Like, when did it turn into, you know what I mean? So he goes, fuck that. Let's go have steak. Right? So he puts out a group text like, hey, we should all do steak. And then, of course, I'm like, okay, I want to make this one. I like the guys. I go, I'm in. Yeah. I'm the only one that was in.
You and Matt had a nice romantic dinner at the steak.
Dude. So everybody was like,
so weird. You guys decided to still go anyway, just the two.
Well, everybody was like, I'm out. And then Matt's like, F that, I'm still in. Steve, you still in? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm still in,
Matt
right?
just wanted the nice steak.
Yeah, dude. So we go out, and at first I'm like you, I'm like, wait a minute. It's like a bro date. It's not even like a group thing. It's like me and Matt, right? And it was
Holding hands, looking into each other's
well,
eyes
it's
over
funny
the
because he got
candlelight.
there first, and then I walk in. He's like, "My party's here." Like, this is my party, right? And then they put us in a booth.
Oh.
I'm like, all right, so we're in a booth, but I gotta say,
Sitting on the same side?
Yeah, I gotta say, I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed your date with Matt?
I enjoyed my date with Matt. We both have very similar wives.
Uh-huh.
He has a son our age. He has a daughter, a year and a half older than Delilah.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, we had a great conversation. We shared an appetizer.
You don't even share your food with me. You shared your food with Matt.
Bullshit, dude. You're just saying that for them. No, we always share an appetizer. We always share an
You'll
appetizer.
share an appetizer,
Yes.
but you get upset if I reach over and grab from your plate.
No, and then
Did you let Matt grab from your plate?
No. He goes, man, I want steak, but I also want crab. I'm like, oh my God, I want steak, but I also want crab, right? So the waiter comes over, and I'm like,
I'm just dying. The two of you in a restaurant together in a booth.
nice restaurant.
Yeah.
It's not even like a bar. We're like in a fine dining, right? Or whatever it is. And I tell the waiter, I go, hey man, so I want a steak. He goes, great. He goes, the smallest steak we have is 8 ounces, and it's a fillet. And I'm like, I don't like fillets. They're too lean. I go, I'd rather have, do you have a ribeye? And he goes, yeah, but they're all 16 ounces is the smallest they come. And I'm like, man, I really want steak and crab. And Matt was like, I really want steak and crab. And then he was like, the waiter goes, well, I can cut the steak in half, boys.
Boys? Cut you boys?
So I'm like, hell yeah, man. Like cut it up. So we shared a steak and we shared crab.
Yes.
And then we shared a piece of cheesecake because we went all out.
Oh.
But I gotta say, it was really nice. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is we were both able to talk about our sons.
Yeah.
What he's going through, raising his son, what I'm going through.
Without a kid tagging on you, and you got to eat your food and it was still warm.
And then he totally had some insight on the whole daughter situation, right? Because his daughter's now 2? Mm-hmm. And talking to me about like, hey man, it's, you got to do this or you got to do that, or when you've got 2. And
what did he say? I'm curious.
It's for me.
Oh.
It's not for you. But and then what really like got me is he goes, man, he's like, I'm really excited because I'm doing my first daughter daddy dance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know that started at 2.
Oh, Lacey invited me to his wife invited me to a mommy and son one, but we were back home.
And then she's doing ballet.
Yes, she takes dance class.
And he's like, Steve, he's like, it's the cutest thing in the world, man, to watch your little girl up there. So I gotta say, man, that it was nice. It was nice to sit there with another dad who is completely in my shoes, and us be able to talk about sports, life, his kids, my kids, his pain in the ass wife, my pain in the ass wife. And I told Matt, I go, man, I gotta say, dude, like I enjoyed, having dinner with you. And he was like, yeah, me too. So we might do it again.
Well, that's what we do every month on Mommy's Night.
But I could totally see, like, me and Rick, for example.
Yeah.
Go and it's weird to think like, hey, I want to invite Rick so that Rick and I can just have a dinner that, number one, is not about business, but about family. And how's the wife? And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And talk about sports. And so it was something that I would never think to do.
So you would do another bro dinner one-on-one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Rick would be a good one, right? Because he's got his kids and they're older than ours. We both like smoking meat. We both like whiskey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the and I don't want to say bummer because I completely respect Matt for being sober. So I don't want to say it was a bummer, but I would have had a nice glass of wine. I would have had a nice glass of whiskey or scotch. But out of respect for him, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
But if I were to invite Rick, Rick and I, we share a lot of the same
Vices,
right? But no, I would totally go to Ruth Chris with Rick and sit down and have a steak and
Yeah.
But I gotta say, and I highly recommend it for other men out there that, hey man, you've got a buddy that you see eye to eye with that maybe has a very similar situation.
Yeah.
It was nice, and to get his perspective, get Matt's perspective, and also one of the things that you don't do when you're in a group of guys. When you're in a group of guys, it's all bullshitting. It's all laughs. It's all cracking jokes, right? To really, understand, hey man, where's your career, right? What's going on through COVID with your job?
Yeah.
And him having to explain the changes. I would have never had a conversation with him like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is cool for me to hear because you are always the more the merrier. You love the group. You love the crowd. And I've always been the one who's like, I feel like there's always so many people. We don't get those intimate moments with individuals. It feels like everything's kind of watered down.
I think that's unfair because I do like, me, I'm always very interested in people. Right, I took Uncle Chris fishing.
Yeah.
When Theo Eddie and Tia Elva came over, I sat outside with Uncle Eddie, Theo Eddie, and we had a glass of Crown together and talked. So I think that you're being unfair, but I am also more the merrier because of my life and my schedule, I don't get to see everybody.
Right.
So if I can see everybody at the same time in Vegas or at one of my shows,
right? No,
I take what I can get,
and I get that. That's what our lifestyle allows for. All I'm saying is that you miss out on those little nuggets and those moments of intimate connection.
But what I'm saying is, with a friend, right?
Yeah,
I get those moments with my dad or my uncle, right, where we have a few moments to be together. But I would never have said, hey, Rick, me and you, man, let's go to dinner, right? I would never have said that.
Yeah.
I would have never said, hey, Matt, let's go have a nice dinner together.
Right.
I would never say that. It ended up that way. We ended up in that situation. We both wanted steak. We both wanted our evening away from the wife and kids. So we did it out of necessity. But now what I'm saying is that
I think do it again.
I think me and Rick should do one. Honestly.
Okay, Rick, he said it 3 times, so I think he's basically saying I'm watching the kiddos and you guys are doing it.
But what I'm trying to say is that the people watching, to take what accidentally happened to me and do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed our time. I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoyed, and I also think it's interesting because, talking to him, his wife is very similar to you.
Yeah, Matt's told me that before. Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys, spoiled fucking brats. Like you guys are so similar. So it was funny to hear, and then Matt would go, and then we'd get into an argument, and then she'd do this to me, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, she does. My wife does that, to me. But it was just a good experience.
Yeah.
And we weren't even gone that long, which was even better, right? There was no. I think when you go out with a group of guys, it turns into, we'll have another one, and let's have another one, and let's take a shot, and let's hang out, and then you kind of lose track of the night.
You kind of have too much to drink, like that's what you mean.
Like you girls. So don't even get me started, dude. Don't even get me started.
I haven't been at a mom's night in a long time.
All I'm saying is that I would do it again with a friend.
Yeah.
And do a guys, let's just have dinner with one guy.
Yeah.
Instead of, yes, don't get me wrong. I still want to go out with the guys. I still want to go have drinks. I still want to have wings. I still want to have the laughs and the joking around and all that good stuff.
Sure.
But I thought it was a good thing. And I think Matt thought it was a good thing. And then even Matt was like, I gotta say, man, like on our text, that was pretty cool, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So again, for those of you watching, I highly recommend. So that was what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
So
before we talk about anything else, we should say
I know exactly where you're going.
Okay.
Yes, we should say thank you that I am so talented. I'm kidding. I like to thank me. I like to thank me for showing up to work and being talented. I'd like to thank me. No, I would like to thank Aztec Chevrolet. That's where you were going, right?
Yes, that's where I was going.
Before we move on, we should definitely thank our friends at Aztec Chevrolet. If you're looking for a vehicle, hit up our friends at Aztec Chevrolet. Dude, it was so funny. You know how much I love craps, right? And I will get a table going, right? Because Chad went. Yeah. Right? Chad went.
Wait, you got to explain to people. Steve had a show, but he was like, you know what? Let me just take a 2-3 hour detour because I'm kind of close to a casino.
Yes.
And go to a casino.
Well, no, it was semi-justified.
Semi. Yes.
Right? Because Lubbock was so far away.
That you would make the trip longer and go to Oklahoma.
Longer yet cut in half. Longer yet wake up in the morning and not have to drive as far. Anyway, Chad came. We call
Casino
him
logic. That's called casino logic. Gambler's logic.
Yes, and we call Chad 8-ball corner pocket. Okay, and the reason we call Chad 8-ball corner pocket is because when he came to Vegas, he was wearing shorts. He was sitting down, and he had his legs open. I happened to look between his legs.
Okay. I feel like this is going the wrong way.
And I didn't know what was going on down there. It looked like, you know what they say, I think the Franks have gone above the beans. You know what I mean? So Chad thinks I'm taking a picture of him.
You spared Matt and Lacey, but not Chad.
And I'm actually taking a picture of his balls. Right. So then the group that we were together in, I zoomed in and I sent it to everybody, right, on the group text, including Chad. And then one day, and all the jokes were like, where did you go to college? Ball State. Like, I mean, all that whole weekend, everything was balls jokes.
I'm so uncomfortable for Chad right now.
Oh, he's fine. So anyway, one day I'm talking to Jake, who introduced me to Chad, and I go, hey, dude, is 8-ball corner pocket going to be there? And we both lost it because Jake was like, I know exactly who you're talking about, right? So from then on, he has become 8-ball corner pocket. So 8-ball corner pocket comes, we get ourselves at a craps table, but I'm on this end and he's completely on the other end. Okay, completely on the other end.
Okay.
And we are killing it, dude. And then, I'm running my mouth, and I got the mask, which is even better. You have to wear a mask. Nobody knows who I am.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt great, right?
You weren't wearing a tank top, giving it away with the tattoos?
No. I'm like, hey, baby, winners win. And then he's like, and 8-ball's over there going, winners do what? And the whole table would go, win. And he would throw the even the dealers were like, win, right? And then I would go, I make money, you make money, right? And Chad would go, if I make money, we all make, like the whole table, we all make money. Dude, it was fucking awesome, dude. And it's literally me and Chad. Everybody else is black. Everybody else is black, right? And they're oh, hell yeah. Dude, like people are going, like the whole casino's like, what's happening? So these dudes are getting into it. We're freaking screaming. The table's like, if I get paid, you get paid. Winners do what? Winners win. And then I started, when he would throw the dice, right when they would land, I'd go, ha! And the whole table would go, ha! Like, dude, I had the whole dude. It was
It's a shame you can't record that stuff at the table.
It was awesome. But the best was, so the dude next to me, older black man, right? And when I say older, I mean, he was older, right? Yeah. I mean, very well dressed, right? Older black dude. You could tell he had money, right? Yeah. Like, very well put together. And then like they had to be his grandkids because they were like in their 20s, and his wife, they come up to him, right? And we're killing it.
Yeah.
And he goes, baby, we got ourselves a craps player. Y'all need to go and get. And they turned around and left. I was like, dude, did he just tell his family, go and get? I can't wait for you to be at the casino with me and be like, listen, baby, we got ourselves some craps players. You need to go and get. Dude, I told Chad, I was like, 8 Ball, I'm like, dude, you don't even know what just happened. But so there was a bet, right? You place a bet, and if you get 8 rolls in a row without crapping out, you get your money back. 16 rolls, you make $45, and it goes up and up and up all the way to $1,500.
If the same person just keeps rolling, like doesn't get a 7, right?
If he rolls 50 rolls in a row, you win $1,500. Well, I win $1,500. It depends on how much you bet.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's 1,500 to 1. Oh no, 500 to 1.
So for every dollar you play,
yes,
you get $500.
Yes.
Got it.
So 8 Ball had put $1 and I had put 15. So he rolled, are you ready for this, Rick? 70 times in a row. Dude, we were yelling, ha! And when I make money, we all make money. Dude, the dealers were just like, what's happening?
So were other people, can you add to that bet, or you have to place it before they start rolling?
Before they start rolling.
Okay.
Before you start rolling, you got to bet. And then the funny part is, well, not the funny part, but this table, I really enjoyed it because, yes, you have asked me to be very careful when it comes to COVID.
Yeah.
Right? You have said, hey, you've got a baby. So I really try to wear my mask. You've got me with my little hand sanitizer deal. But this particular table, and we ended up there, and I would not have played it otherwise. You make all your own bets. So you're not touching chips.
On like a little screen?
Like a little screen, but you're still throwing dice.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And then every other chair was empty. So there was only 6 of us at the table, right? So you're already kind of far apart, And then this woman walks by, and of course we're screaming, right, at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
And she was like, are you Steve Trevino? And
She recognized your voice?
She goes, I recognized your voice. She goes, can I take a picture with you, right? So I take the picture, and the dude that I've literally been playing with all night. I mean, we've been there 4 hours, and the guy next to me, he goes, man, you're a comedian? I go, yeah, I'm a comedian. And he goes, what's your name? So I tell him my name. He looks me up. He's like, is this you? I go, yeah, it's me. He goes, man, I'm a performer, right? And I'm like, oh, shit, right? Like, I'm going to hear that this guy's a comedian. I'm going to have to hear all the bullshit.
Can I open for you?
He goes, I am the Dallas Mavericks mascot. And I was like, no kidding.
Cool.
So he was like, let's exchange numbers, man. I'm like, yes, I would love to see you do your thing. And he was like, yeah, man, next time you're in Dallas or you want to come to a game, he's like, hit me up. I'm the mascot. I'm like, dude, how
random and neat.
Yeah, it was really cool. But we just had so much fun, dude, yelling and screaming. And I mean,
that's why he was into the cheers. That's his thing.
Yeah. I'm going to be so mad if he's at a Mavericks game and I hear winners do what? Win! I'll be like, oh, that's mine. But dude, even the dealers were like, when we wouldn't do it, the dealers would be like, winners do what? Like, they go, if I get money, we all make money.
Were you guys getting dirty looks from the pit boss?
Well, no, so we ended up on that table, and that's not a very desirable craps table because of the computer. Everybody wants the real life dice.
Oh, so you had the option.
Well, not really, because it was so busy Friday night that like people were literally waiting in line behind people because they can only put 6 people at a table.
Yeah.
So people were waiting in line for that person to leave. But we get there and nobody wants to play the computer one. So me and 8 Ball are like, let's play it.
Yeah.
So we did, and it was funny because all the dudes over there were like, man, we should be on that table. Like, why aren't we on that table? But we had an amazing time playing craps. And I just wanted to throw 8 Ball Corner Pocket a big shout out. And then here's the funny part. So then
I think he's gonna wish you hadn't.
So then and then 8 Ball ended up winning. I want to say he ended up walking with like $1,400. right? And Jake, our mutual friend, we're driving up there, and he's like, y'all are going to the casino. We're like, hell yeah, we're going to the casino. And he goes, all right, Chad, $100, dude. And if you do well, we split it, right? So he goes, Trevino, give Chad $100 cash for me. And if he wins a lot, he'll take care of me. We'll split it, right? So I'm like, Chad, how much? Like, you won $1,400, and it's already late. We've been playing there forever. I go, you won $1,400, dude. Jake did well, huh? He goes, oh no. This is Jake's 100. This one was mine. I go, dude, you're an asshole. He goes, let's go play Jake's together at the blackjack. And we sit down, do 2 hands, it's gone. He's like, well, I guess Jake didn't do well. I'm like, dude, you're a dick. 8 ball. But we had a really, really good time. And then since we are doing double episode today, you know, and we like to talk about our week.
Yeah. Well, I started working out with Enid because remember you said if I get abs that you're taking me to Croatia.
I don't want to reveal too much because you just started.
I did with the diet, which is not fun.
Oh my God, dude.
So hard.
So Rick, we had her, and by the way, if you want to have a conversation with her, Rick, you should, because I have learned so much.
She's so passionate and so knowledgeable.
But it trips me out because she was like, listen, your snack is going to be 100 to
120 calories.
100 to 120 calories. And then, Rick, she's going through our pantry and she's like, not healthy. Not
like pickles. Like pickles are supposed to be free food, right? They're like,
oh, no,
cucumbers, but the amount of sodium in them is ridiculous. So she's like, I wouldn't eat the pickles.
She's like, don't eat pickles. Right?
And I was counting on scarfing pickles at night.
And then, dude, Renee's got 15 different nuts in her little bullshit jars. And we're like, well, nuts are good. And she's like, well, yeah, they are.
Yeah, like 10 of them.
Yeah, she goes, for your snack, you can have 9. I go, 9 nuts? And she goes, yeah, 9. She goes, if you sit there and eat handfuls of nuts, she goes, that's your meal.
More than your meal.
More than your meal. She goes, you could eat 800 calories of nuts in one sit down and not even know it. I'm like, what?
That was you. You would get the jar and just...
I'm like, these are healthy.
Handfuls. Yeah.
But we've learned a lot from her, and she's going to start helping you out. What's the plan?
Well, the plan is we're traveling too, so that's what makes it so freaking tricky. But I think she's gonna exercise with me over video. She's sort of giving me guidelines for what I have to eat. Like she said, when we travel, don't even bother opening up the menu. She's like, just order chicken and a house salad. Yeah. Don't even open up the menu.
But you know what? When she said that, it made a lot of sense to me.
Oh, for sure. Because I ordered the menu and I'm like, I like this and this and this.
Right.
But I'm also a little sad because that's part of why I love traveling. I love to go shopping in other cities and I love to go eating in other cities.
But she's literally like, you want chicken breast, a veggie, and rice.
Yeah.
She's like, that's your meal. So then Renae, you gave her a goal.
Yeah, so she reverse calculates. Like I think we decided she and I are going to work together for 12 weeks. And the idea is that the goal is that in those 12 weeks, I'll lose about 20 pounds or so, give or take.
That's crazy.
So we're thinking like 2 pounds, 2 pounds a week is the goal.
But you haven't been able to stick to it.
No, I haven't been able to stick to the diet.
It's hard.
I haven't. Yeah. I mean, when...
It shows. It shows.
No, when I took the little road trip back home, I took my pre-made meals in a cooler, but I didn't have enough. And then it's like you're driving. It's hard. It's hard to make sure you eat every 3 hours.
Well, and not only that, for her to go, you have to read labels.
Yeah. I'm not a calorie counter. I'm not a read labels and measure out
look,
food.
1,500 calories is what you're having.
Yeah.
If you want to lose this weight, and then she's working on some exercises.
Yeah.
For you,
but slowly, because
But again, a million times, and I think Rick would agree. We hear constantly, constantly is food.
Yeah.
80% of your fitness
Or
is
more
food.
even.
Or
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah.
You know, and you hear it all the time. And I will say that, me and you have made a lot of changes in our lives. We don't drink sodas.
Yeah.
There are not bags of chips. We don't eat Doritos. We don't eat Cheetos.
Yeah.
We don't eat any chips. We don't eat any processed meats, right? So we have made, snack wise, there's peanuts, there's jerky, there's,
I mean, if someone came and raided our refrigerator and our pantry, it's pretty freaking healthy. We just don't.
No, what I'm saying is we
measure
thought
out
it
stuff.
was. And then you're learning that it's not, right? And you're learning that it's all about portion control.
That's
right?
what it is. Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there going, well, man, I'm sitting down, my snacks, nuts. Well, you can have 9.
Yeah.
So literally, she goes, grab a handful, eat your nuts. That's your.
And it seems so simple, but like if you lead a busy life, to make sure I am eating every 3 hours, because that's the other thing is she's like, you can't just have all your calories at the end of the day because you're like, oh crap, I skipped lunch. Like you have to be eating your calories.
But
every 3 hours.
It's like me, right? I on a regular get 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
On a regular. You know me, I'm outside.
You're moving.
I don't
Yeah,
stop
you're a
moving.
busybody.
From the second I wake up, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm lifting weights. I started doing the mixed martial arts. I'm busy, and I do seem like I'm losing a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
But then I realized when I'm sitting there, we're filming you guys, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, man. I eat 5 of those little pickles, right? I sit there and eat a jar of peanuts at the end of the night. Or me and Garrett share a bag of popcorn. Or, and you go, man. So that one sitting at the end of the evening for me is probably
the issue.
the issue, right?
Yeah.
Those extra calories. But, when we decided to do this, one of the things that we talked about, and I said, look, Renae, and I think Rick and all the people around us, I've sat on the internet before and I've gone, okay, I would like to meal prep. What does that mean? Right? And then you find somebody that goes, we're going to show you how to meal prep. And then it goes, oh crap, you got to pay. You want to see how it's done? You got to pay. So we decided to take people on this journey, and anybody that cares can watch what you and a professional dietitian, workout expert, I don't know what they call those.
Trainer,
are going to go through so that people can actually see, because you guys did the meal prep one. And again, she was like, oh no, that's too much chicken. Cut that in half.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a chicken breast like that. And she was like, oh, no. That's 2 meals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you hated the rice.
I'm just not a rice person. It's so bland and blah. Like,
do you think that you're going to be able to make it?
I don't know. This is hard because we're like totally putting it on blast. And I have to change my mindset about the measuring of the food. And Ina just keeps reassuring me. She's like, look, if you can just make yourself commit to it for a week, for 2 weeks, and you see results, that will be enough to encourage you to keep measuring the food, to keep reading the labels and all of that.
You don't think you've seen results in this week? You don't think you've seen results in this week?
I don't know.
I feel like I see it in your face a little bit.
Do you? Yeah,
I feel like
I don't
I
know.
do.
I don't know. I think I'm just so bummed every time I'm like, I had a piece of chocolate, or you know what I mean? Every time I stumble on the diet, which is a lot.
I like chocolate.
I do too.
I like my peanut butter cups.
I do too.
But I don't eat them every day. But if I walk by one, I'm like, you know what? Let me.
My problem is they say, oh, just indulge, have the one piece of chocolate. But I know me, I'm better off not having the piece of chocolate, because if I have the piece of chocolate, I'm having 5 pieces of chocolate.
Well, and what really surprised me too was she's like, you need to drink 32 ounces of water a day.
Well, 64, not 32, 64. She was basically like, you should be having 8 ounces with your breakfast and with and your snack. Each time you sit down to eat, have your 8 ounces.
Are you able to stick to the 5 times a day?
That's been
meal,
hard.
snack,
because
meal,
with
snack,
because
meal.
with the baby, and you would think that it's like the baby's eating every 3 hours, just eat every 3 hours when the baby eats. But no, I'm having a really hard time doing that, committing to eating every 3 hours. It's just the day gets away from me.
Me and you have been working out together for almost our whole relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Except for when I was pregnant.
Well, and then when I decided, okay, I really got to get in shape because, I had gotten really out of shape and big. Me and you since then have pretty consistently worked out, and we've been through it all, right? I like to weight lift. We've done cardio. We finished Insanity, me and you. And now I'm doing mixed martial arts. So, and then you're doing the bike.
Yeah.
Would you say that working with her, workout wise, she's been able to teach you a few things? Or?
Oh yeah, that for sure. Because when you and I would go to the gym together, you'd be like, "Today's chest and back day," and it's like, I mean, yes, I work on that stuff with her, but she definitely is targeting the trouble areas on a female body. So that I'm excited.
Well, that was cool too. That she was like, "Look, I work for women.
Yeah,
and I am a woman, and I want to work on things that women have." Issues with.
It's definitely different than than going into the gym and doing weights with you, for sure. Yeah.
Well, because
that'll be cool to see.
And because ultimately, look, we joke about the abs, but ultimately, you want to have a figure.
Yeah.
And you want to fit in your clothes.
I have a tub of clothes that is labeled too small, but they were clothes that I fit in after we did Insanity, before I had Garrett. And I told Enid, like, if I can fit into the clothes I had before I got pregnant with Delilah, that would be wonderful. But if I could really get into those clothes that I wore before I had Garrett, that would be awesome.
I think that should be the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you get abs, I would love it. But, we were like, okay, since we do like to wrap up our week in these podcasts, we've rushed things because we don't have our podcast studio in Florida. We're going to be spending 2 weeks in Florida. So you're watching this episode right in the middle of us being in Florida.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's take questions.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see what people want us to talk about.
Well, because it's like officially season 2 now, right? We're calling it season 2. We made it through a year of the podcast. And I felt like...
And that's the thing. We keep calling it a podcast. And I don't necessarily think that me and you are a podcast. I think it's more episodic in a reality show kind of. Instead of seeing us out there doing these things, we come in here and we wrap up whatever we're talking about.
Anyway, but so I asked people what they wanted to hear us talk about, and because we hadn't done that in a while. And so there's lots of different things.
You have any good ones?
One of them is, how does Steve do changing diapers now? Because you said you wouldn't, and you have.
Well, I see, and again, they're putting things in my mouth. I never said I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I said that it is your department, right? And I will do it if need be. And we have had, and Garrett has named them, we have had a Code Brown.
Yeah.
Garrett was running around, Code Brown, it's a Code Brown. We got a Code Brown, Dad.
In the morning, he'll be like, please no Code Brown this morning. Yeah. Not on our watch, Dad.
So yes, I have changed her diaper when I need to change her diaper. Next one.
You have. What do you love the most about being a parent, and what advice would you give to new parents? I feel like we kind of answer those a lot in every episode, right?
I did in Lubbock, I hate not being able to do meet and greets. I truly hate it. I like to meet people. So in Lubbock's second show, because we didn't have a time limit, I said, look, let's do a group meet and greet, and if you have any questions, and it was interesting because one of the questions that somebody asked me was, what do you love about your wife?
That's one of the questions on here too.
And I thought my answer I always think about what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
But it was interesting. And of course I want to make it funny too, right?
Right.
But it was interesting because I go, you know what? And I truly meant it. I mean it now. Over time, it has changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I met you and I saw that ass, And I was like, oh my God, this girl has a nice ass
Okay.
and a great, no, but for like seriously,
Yeah.
right? I was in love with the way you looked. And I was like, oh my God, this girl's beautiful. And then, I mean, so that's the first thing I loved about you. And then, hey man, this girl's really cool.
I was gonna say, I hope there's more than that.
No,
Because looks fade.
No, this girl's really cool.
Yeah.
And she's fun. And man, we party together. So then there was that I loved about you. You know, so as our stages in our life have changed,
Yeah.
the things I love about you change. I mean, I still love that ass. Don't get me wrong. But the things that I love about you change and they grow and they're different, right?
Yeah.
I just remember, and I think that for a successful marriage, you have to re-fall in love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes, somebody gets married because they're like, man, me and my wife love to party, and she loves to party, and then
We have fun.
and then she becomes a mom and can't party as much, and then all of a sudden that guy's going, man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where's that chick that I used to party with? And it's like, well, you should be in love with her now at the amazing mom that she is. And for me, I had that moment when I walked, I was going to go help you put Garrett to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the door was cracked open and I saw you reading a book to our son. And I remember going, oh my God, like that's my wife.
Yeah.
She's being a beautiful mother. Like I fell in love with you then. And it grows.
It's interesting what you say about the phases too, because one of the other questions someone asked is, what's the difference between child number 1 and child number 2? And I think it's the knowing that there's phases, right? Because even like towards the end of my pregnancy, you were so ready for me to not be pregnant anymore. But like knowing that phase comes to an end.
Right.
And even like the beginning phase right now, you want to go to Vegas, you're anxious to get to Vegas, but we know like realistically me being nights away from Delilah, it's not happening in this phase, right?
But it's coming.
But that will come too,
right.
So I think it's sort of the hindsight is 20/20 and the vision of knowing the second time around that like things will come in phases.
And they do, but again, when it comes back to, okay, what do you love about your wife? Well, that's hard to answer because there's a lot of things I love about you. There's a lot of things that, I mean, I didn't look
things
at
we
you.
couldn't have known.
That's what I mean.
I did not know you were going to be. I knew you wanted to be a dad because you were like, "Come on, let's have kids, let's have kids, let's have kids." But I didn't know you were going to be such a great dad with so many strong opinions and ideas about how you wanted to raise our kids. Like I just didn't expect that from you.
Which is interesting because I get asked quite often now, like, Steve, I watch you and I implement some of the things that you say about being a dad.
That's another question.
Yeah, where do you get those ideas? I get those ideas because I am a very observant person, right?
Yeah.
And I study people, you know that, and I get to know people. I ask questions, but I study people and I look at things that. Number one, I start with my own dad, right? And I go, here's all the great things that my dad did, right? And then I also go, here's the things that I think my dad did wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to fix that. But then I see a dad like Jeff Brown, for example, who is my friend, who now has a 20-something-year-old. And I watched Jeff raise his son. And his son came out to be a very good son. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, what was Jeff doing? Right. And I pay attention, so I am able to come up with these theories of how to raise my son from all of the different men that I saw raise sons. And I do believe that my dad was an amazing father.
Yeah.
My dad was a very, very good father. He wasn't book smart, but the man, and I think specifically to raise a man. Dad was very good at, hey, these are the lessons that I'm going to teach you. And one of those lessons is hard work, right? And through that, I think I was lucky enough to have a great dad. But at the same time, he had his faults. But then we always talk about this where you got to look at what happened to your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to
Right.
go, wait a minute, you know,
What molded the way they think and act.
and what became of them,
Yeah.
right? I'm able to take the good, the bad, and I watch. I tell you, like the pavers in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna learn how to do that, and all I got to do is watch. All I got to do is watch and participate.
Yeah.
And now I know how to do pavers. I watch how they do it.
So if you guys are interested in pavers, segue to the second question. If you were not able to pursue comedy, what would you be doing today? Laying pavers.
I think that my dad gave me the tools to succeed no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a job since I was 12, 13 years old. I know how to work hard. I know how to talk to people. So I think I could have done anything. You know, Dad and I used to love to fish and hunt, and Dad really wanted me to be a game warden. I think that would have been a fun job for me. But at the end of the day, I think I would have, whatever I did, I would have been successful. But I also would have tried to use that vehicle to do good and to try to influence and to try to help people. Why does all of a sudden it turn into an interview on me?
I don't know.
I thought they were just questions. Things to talk about.
I know. Lots of people asking how we met, but we've shared that story on another
Yeah,
episode.
you're not watching enough of the podcast. Because I think episode 1 or 2, we talk about how we met.
And how I got the name Captain Evil. We've talked about that. Several people are asking, how do we get through an argument? They obviously know we argue. So how do we get through an argument? Or do we have heavy arguments?
The way it works is I get mad at Renae for doing something. Renae immediately defends herself. And then she defends and defends. And then when her defending herself doesn't work, then she gets loud and aggressive. And then after she gets loud and aggressive, then she ignores me completely.
No, what it is we've learned each other's patterns. For me, I always told you, when we got in an argument, I was like, just give me a minute. Let me go somewhere and cool off and give me a minute. And you always felt like, because of your life experiences, you were being abandoned almost. And so that did not work for you. So we sort of had to learn how we both handle conflict and come to a place to get through it together.
No, yes, but I also think that we're both smart people.
Yeah.
And at the end after the anger's gone, after the frustration's gone, after we yell and get aggressive or get mad, that we both hurt each other out, right? And I've always said this in my relationship. I say it with my son. I'm sorry's don't mean anything unless you change.
Yeah.
You know, so we would always be like, hey, you know, there was things that I was doing that you were not okay with.
Yeah.
You know, there was things that you were going, look, this is not okay. This is not the man I want, you know, so I had to change, you know, and same vice versa. But I think at the end of the day that we have gotten to the point where even though we get angry, even though we get mad, we still hear each other out. And I think we're smart enough to go on both ends to go, okay, I see what he or she is saying there, and I'm willing to compromise.
Right.
Right. I'm willing to meet in the middle, or I'm willing to go, I hear what you're saying loud and clear. I'm going to, you know.
But there's also the security of commitment of both of us knowing that we're fully committed.
You
and
taught me
so that even though we don't see eye to eye or we are having an argument, at some point we're going to come back together.
Well, yeah, but you taught me that. I would lose my mind and I would go, well, F you. And I remember threatening divorce one time.
Yeah.
And you go, I want you to notice something. I've never threatened divorce. That's what you told me. You go, because I'm not leaving. I don't threaten you, and I'm here to work it out. And I was like, oh, fuck. Shit, she's not leaving. But I remember you saying that, and then, you know, I was asked to speak at Jeremy Cruz's wedding, and that was the one message that I gave them.
Yeah.
The one piece of advice was, hey, you're not divorcing each other, so you better work it out.
Yeah.
You know, and you taught me that. But again, you've taught me things. You know, I've taught you things.
Yeah.
And I think that you being the person you are and me being the person I am, and us both coming from different sides of the track, almost, if you will,
Yeah.
helps.
Well, but I was going to say the thing is too that sometimes we disagree about something, and it's not that we come to an agreement. We still feel differently, or we both share a different opinion about something, and we just handle that respectfully, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny to me. One of the biggest lessons you taught me is I had a huge chip on my shoulder of I work for everything that I have.
Yeah.
Right. I had nothing. I have nothing. Everything that I have, I got it on my own. And instead of accepting that, hey, that's your path. Right. I was mad at that comic that was hanging out at the Comedy Store doing open mics, driving up in a brand new car that mommy and daddy bought him.
Yeah.
I was mad at that guy. And I'd be like, well, fuck that dude, man. And he's got this and he's got that. And, and I remember you telling me going, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Why are you mad at him? Because his parents have money. And then I remember you, taking that in and going, oh crap, you're right. Like, and then you going, why do you spend your energy on that guy? You're more talented. You're funnier. But instead you're mad at this guy because he has a nicer car than you. Get over it.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot. But I think that's how we get over our arguments, is that we are willing to hear each other out and understand that that's your point of view.
Right.
I want to hear your point of view. I understand your point of view. I can understand why you're upset. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change it. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to explain to you that, hey, like me, Steve, you're being unreasonable.
You're wrong and I'm right.
Every time. But this is another episode of free therapy for you guys.
On that note.
I love you. You look beautiful. You look like a purple people eater.
What every woman wants to hear.
Aztec Chevrolet, thank you so much for being so good to us. If you're not calling Aztec Chevrolet for your next Chevrolet, you're an idiot. Because they're awesome, and they're sweet, and they're kind, and they're hardworking people. So I am Steve Trevino. Thank you, Aztec Chevrolet. This is my beautiful wife. Sayonara.